Hello! In this video, we will look into how non-profit and non-governmental organizations can improve the user-drivenness of the open data ecosystem. A user-driven approach is one of the features of a sustainable open data ecosystem. Such an approach to open data provision implies differentiation between various types of users and their respective needs. The data needs to have value and be directly usable for the user. For example, the right type of data in the correct format. This requires a closed feedback loop between the users and the open data providers. To achieve it, open data governance and business models should be implemented using tools that provide a more active, participatory, or responsive level of open data provider involvement with users. However, the current state of open data ecosystem suggests that it is quite supply-driven and user-drivenness is not yet achieved. Let's look next into who addresses that and how. In this video, we focus on the role of non-profit and non-governmental organizations as open data intermediaries in improving the user-drivenness of the open data ecosystem. Let's first look at who non-profit organizations are in the context of the open data ecosystem. Non-profit organizations can be functionally defined as organizations aiming to serve neglected populations, expand freedom or empower people, advocate for social change, and provide services to the targeted groups without generating profits. Non-profit organizations in an open data ecosystem can act as a type of open data intermediary. Those are third-party actors who provide specialized resources and capabilities to, first, enhance the supply flow and use of open data, and/or strengthen the relationships among various open data stakeholders. As an example, we will look at a few non-profit organizations and how their role in demand-supply matching contributes to the user-drivenness of the open data ecosystem. This is based on the case studies we conducted. NGOs enabling user-drivenness, the provider side. NPOs help create spaces for users to come together with potential data providers. For example, NPOs can organize a conference or hackathon event. Creating spaces for such communication helps users access the data providers to discuss data needs in person, establishing more lasting connections. NPOs take the role of public representatives and collaborate with the different stakeholders, which means that the data provider approaches them with questions about data publishing decisions, asking if there is an interest among the users in specific data being opened. NPOs can also use their connections with open data user communities to ask them whether they envision this data being used in the projects and creating value. The feedback is then carried back to the data provider. By lobbying for the data to be open on behalf of the user groups, NPOs bring open data providers' attention to the issue. Open data user communities can come to the NPOs with a specific data request to lobby for, or the NPOs themselves might have a social issue they found from their user research. NGOs enabling user-drivenness, the user side. Many NPOs created tools for citizens to apply the Freedom of Information Act and request data of interest from the organizations themselves, thus creating a direct line of communication to address the user's needs. As mentioned, NPOs help create spaces for users to come together with open data providers. NPOs follow the current topic of social interest and social issues and can conduct user research to see which data usability they can help the users with. NPOs also use their connections with open data user communities to ask them on behalf of open data providers whether they envision the specific data being used in the projects and creating value if opened. The users themselves also come to the NPOs with their data needs to help them open the data for the project or social issue. User communities also give feedback on the questions or requests of the data provider through the NPO. In conclusion, non-profit organizations can play an instrumental role in improving the user-drivenness of the open data ecosystem. For non-governmental intermediaries to contribute in this regard, they require specific value capabilities. Capabilities are derived from the organization's resources and are the source of an organization's competitive advantage if applied to perform essential activities within the organization. First, individual competencies. Understanding of open government data concepts and data literacy skills of the employees and their motivations. The organizational capabilities. The ways with which NGOs is achieving its goals, including collaboration, organizational flexibility. Open data processes. Those are open data related activities of an NGO, such as open data enhancement or advisory services. Now you know how NGOs can contribute to a user-driven open data ecosystem from user and provider sides, by creating spaces for users to come together with potential data providers, by lobbying for open data, by being a user representatives and bringing feedback from users to the data providers, by creating tools, and by providing advice for the users.